Hey everybody, it's Mr. Odom here, and today I'm going to go over the process for multiplying and dividing rational numbers. This will be a quick video because the rules are the same for rational numbers when you multiply and divide them as they are for integers. So you'll need a pencil, composition book or notebook paper, and a calculator as always. And the learning target for this video is I can multiply and divide rational numbers. Okay, so the little remember light bulb note here is to remind you what the reciprocal is, so that when we divide rational numbers, we always have to make sure that we keep, change, and flip, where the flip is using the reciprocal. And you'll see examples of that. All right, so the rules, the key idea here, if you're going to write something down in your composition book, then write these words. To multiply and divide, multiply or divide rational numbers, use the same rules for signs as you used for integers. Okay, so down here in bold, I wrote if the rational numbers have the same sign. So if I'm going to multiply, let's see, 6/7 times 2/3, they both are positive numbers. So my answer is also positive. Okay. If I was going to multiply -6/7 times 2/3, or -2/3, sorry, we'll do that first. Notice they are both negative. The answer is still positive. Okay, so in the previous video, when we talked about multiplying integers, the rule was if they have the same sign, the answer will be positive. Okay, so that's the rule that we're going to use for positive integers and rational numbers and negative integers and rational numbers. So if the rational numbers have different signs, so if I took 6/7 and multiply it by -2/3, or I took -6/7 and multiply that by +2/3. So we have different signs, so my answer will be negative. Different signs means you will have a negative answer. Okay, so for this first one, it'll be -12/21, and this is -12/21. And so when you look at these answers for these four problems, one of the things that you always have to remind yourself of for fractions, you have to do what before you can say that's the final answer? Remember, you have to simplify them. So even down here, I can simplify this one. I can divide 12 by 3 and I get 4, and I can divide 21 by 3 and I get 7. So both of these are -4/7. And then up here, these are both 4/7. Okay, so don't forget to simplify your fractions. All right, so let's practice a little bit. So I selected two problems. One's a division problem, and the other one's a multiplication problem. So number one, I already worked this out, so I'm going to walk through it with you. So the first step was to write the problem down. Okay, so I did that, wrote it down. And then this is a division problem. So I have to change the division problem into a multiplication problem by using the, I always called it Kentucky Chicken Fried, or keep, change, and flip, which means when you go from a division problem to a multiplication problem, you keep the first integer rational number, change the sign from division to multiplication, and then write the reciprocal of the second rational number, which is, in this case, -1/2. So the reciprocal is -2/1. It'll still be negative. All I do is take the fraction part and I flip it. And now I can go ahead and multiply numerators and denominators. I will look to see if I can cancel, and I can't cancel with the 6 and the 1 and the 5 and the 2. So it's just multiply 6 times 2 gives me 12, 5 times 1 gives me 5. But look, both signs here are negative. They are the same. So my answer should be, that's correct. Your answer should be positive. So remember, same sign, positive answer. So, and then I put a box around it and I'm done. Let's look at number 5. So when you look at problems like this, a lot of times people look at problems like this and they're like, oh no, I can't do it. It's too big. There's too much. I hate fractions. I want a puppy or something like that. So maybe you don't want a puppy. Maybe I want a puppy. Anyway, so if we really look at this and we remember some of the things we learned last year in 6th grade, we know that when we multiply values together, numbers, fractions, decimals, if we multiply more than 2 of them together, it doesn't matter what order I multiply them in. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to focus on these two first. And what I'm going to do, because I remember the commutative property of multiplication, I'm going to rewrite this multiplication problem with these two numbers in it. So the commutative property of multiplication says the order doesn't matter, so I can write 3/2 times 7 and 7/8. Okay. Now I can use another property called the associative property of multiplication. And now I can multiply these two values first and then multiply it by the third one. And if we stare really hard at this, not too hard that you give yourself a headache, you can see that, wait a second, Mr. Odom, the 3 in the numerator and the 3 in the denominator cancel. And over here, this 2 in the numerator and this 2 in the denominator cancel. And I have a negative number times a positive. So different signs means that this is going to be a negative answer. And what's it going to be? You are correct. That's -1 times 7 and 7/8. All right. And wait a second. You guys can do this problem. I have a negative number times a positive number. My answer will be negative. And 1 times anything is just the anything. So there you go. All right. So sometimes when you look at problems and they look too difficult, take a deep breath, and go for it. You guys are capable, very capable of solving these problems. Okay, so I left some problems for you to look at. Number 2, 3, 6, and 4. With 3, 4, and 6, you can go ahead and use your calculator. And then number 2, go ahead and work that one out. And so pause your video here and work those problems out. All right, we're back. Hopefully you worked those out. Life's good. You got all the answers. So I'm going to show the answer key down here, which is all the way down here. So here is the answer key for these problems. Let me scoot it up here. There we go. And so you guys had to work out problem 2, 3, 4, and 6. Is that what you guys got? I hope so. All right. Well, that's it for today. Today's goal was to basically practice multiplying and dividing rational numbers. Decimals, just use your calculator. So you guys should be good with that. And hopefully you guys feel pretty good about being able to multiply and divide rational numbers. So this is Mr. Odom. Have a good day. I am out.